Hey guys, in this video I'm going to test the DJI Pocket 4 and 4P in D-Log and D-Log 2. So I'm going to test in this video side by side, so I will shoot everything just like this next to each other. I'm not going to use any filters because I don't have filters on the Pocket 4 yet. So I'm going to shoot in daytime, and I'm also planning to shoot in sunset and different scenarios to see when you can actually notice the huge difference between these two, or if there is any big differences between these two cameras when it comes to the dynamic range. Bugs are so loud here now in Korea. If I have any bad audio, it's because of that. Also, I'm going to show you how I color grade my footage. So I will show you the workflow, what I do, how I apply my node tree, and it will work properly both on the Pocket 4 and 4P. The only thing I will change is the conversion loop from D-Log or D-Log 2 to Rec 709. But I will show you what I do normally. And then at the end of the video, we can see a few clips side by side to see if we could spot a big difference. D-Log is a flat profile. Footage is more flexible in terms of color grading. Also, a big advantage in shooting in any D-Log format, you have the most flexibility in dynamic range. You have a better chance of not overexposing the highlights, and also you have better chance to not to fuck up the shadows as well. So pretty much what I would say in simple terms, if you shoot D-Log, you have more flexibility later on in post-production. Also, to match your camera footage with your other cameras, for instance, if you're shooting with Sony, and a D-Log footage easier to match with the S-Log footage. What I could already see, and I have already seen on both cameras, the D-Log 2 looks very, very flat. So it's very interesting when you apply the Rec 709, it will just kind of brighten up everything. So it's very interesting to see that. If you want to do any color grading, I would recommend to use D-Log. Let's just jump into DaVinci Resolve, where I'm going to show you now how I color grade my footage. I have imported the footage from the Pocket 4 and 4P as well. So this is the D-Log 2 footage from Pocket 4P, and this is the regular D-Log. As you can see, the D-Log 2 is by default, it's much darker compared to the D-Log 1. Therefore, it should reserve more information from highlights and also from the shadow as well. So let's see how it is when I apply the node tree. What I usually do with all DJI footage, I have created a node tree, which I apply to every DJI footage I work with. And then I just replace the conversion loop. So this is the DJI Action 6 node tree. I will just apply it. And basically what you can see, the footage is still super dark. The reason I'm using node tree, because I can turn on and off easily things that I don't need in that certain situations, but in most scenarios I'm using many of the things here. By default, I turn on the noise reduction and grain, as you can see. I mean, the first usable node I'm using for exposure. Here I adjust highlights, shadow, offset. I often add contrast if it's needed here, but you can also do it after the film look applied, so it's up to you, but you can do it here as well. And then here you can decrease midtones, or you can decrease the details as well, make the image a bit less sharp if you want it. On this node tree, I only do white balance. You click on this icon here, the white balance tool, and then you can just click on any white or gray area that will adjust the white balance for you. And then this is a vignette thing. Here I have a few extra things I can turn on and off for different shootings. Halation, I usually turn it on. And the filmic look as well is turned on. But on the filmic look, sometimes I dial back to 50% or I keep it on 100%. It really depends on the footage. Only thing I change depending on what device I use is on the Rec 709. So here you just right click, you go to LUTs, DJI, and because this was a DJI Osmo Action 6 D-Log to Rec 709 LUT, I just have to change this to Pocket 4P D-Log 2 to Rec 709. So just click on this, for instance. So as you can see, from quite dark and foggy image, it just got really, really bright. Now here, what you could see still, because I'm not so happy with the white balance, let's just check it again. I feel like it's a bit too cold because I want this more of a sunset color, so I just increase the temperature a little bit more. So here's the before, after, before, after. I think this image needs a bit more contrast, and probably a little bit more in the shadow and decrease the highlights. Let me just change the vector scope to the waveform, where I can just double check where my highlights are and also where are my shadows. Shadow seems to be okay, to be honest, so I don't mess too much with it. I just decrease it a tiny bit. Also the highlights. Let's just decrease the offset as well, just a tad. And then I would add maybe 10% contrast. So here is a before, after. Okay, I just adjust this a tiny bit. And let's just go back to the shadow. Maybe I will increase the shadow by 2 and then decrease the highlight a little bit. So let's see, here is a before, after, and then we can see just a before, after here as well. So just, I would apply this to the D-Log 2. So it's the exact same node tree. But of course, I need a different conversion loop because as you can see here and here, this is too bright. So I just need to change the Rec. 709 conversion loop from D-Log 2 to D-Log, this one. Now, in many scenarios, I like the D-Log, regular D-Log more, to be honest, because it gets more punchy color already. And I think now the footage is very close. I think the D-Log 2 is still more flat, so you can be a bit more brave with this. You can add more contrast if you want, and also probably increase the saturation. And let's see if, as you can see, it's very, very similar right now. Okay, let's see these two footage, and this was the Pocket 4P and this was the Pocket 4. So let's increase the shadow and let's see how far we can take the shadow, and then let's decrease the highlight to 100. This shot is very interesting because here I didn't have any lights outside, not much. I mean, as you can see right here on the right corner, they had some spotlights, but basically the whole place was lit by the window. Even a proper camera would struggle with this footage, I would have to say that. And quite honest, I don't see much of a noise in the shadow area, which is really crazy. Look at this. So I think this is actually a perfect dynamic range test here. I'm really shooting against the window and I feel like it still have some formation kept. As you can see here on her face, let's just turn off the elevation and RGB. So you have here lots of information still. There's some noise, and this is where probably I would turn on my noise reduction to just clean it up a little bit. This was on the D-Log 2, so let's see the regular D-Log, and then you can see the shadow here as well. But it's still, I think, regular D-Log is still pretty good. And I think the dynamic range on the Pocket 4 is exceptionally good. I mean, let's increase the shadow and decrease the highlight. And let's compare the two footage. And you can see how much more color you have in the regular D-Log compared to the D-Log 2. As you can see, the two footage is very same. I applied the same things. The only thing is, it really occurs me and what I could see right away from editing this footage, the D-Log 2 is just more flat after conversion as well. I could see more formation in the shadow side, to be honest, compared to the regular D-Log. So it still feels like a little bit more bright. I don't know if there is 3 stops of dynamic range difference between the two cameras. There is a bit more information. It has a bit more filmic look, to be honest, compared to like this one, compared to this saturated D-Log. But you can decrease the saturation on the regular D-Log as well if you wanted. So you can really, I think, match the two profiles very well. Let's just see a few examples I shot in Busan. That's it for today's video. I hope it was helpful. Leave a comment below if you think D-Log 1 or D-Log 2 is better, or which camera you think is better in general, and see you in the next one.